It was 1973. Young Rascals had a top hit. It was a top 3 hit in the country. It was People Everywhere Want to Be Free. Okay, very famous song. Well, I really listened to that song because I believe people do want to be free. But I also believe there's a deeper level of freedom. I call that liberty. I believe that there's a deeper level of understanding that takes us far beyond just freedom. I've been seeking that for the last 30 years, okay, and it's brought me to this point. So tonight, we're going to learn some techniques that I believe will set you free, and if you follow them even further, you'll be liberated. Okay? They work very easily because I've been able to answer several questions that have been bothering me for more than 30 years. And one of them is, why is the world in such a bad place, and why do we have so many troubles in our own life? I got an answer to that, I think, that's very reasonable and very accurate. And it comes from our point of reference. In physics, we've learned to solve problems from points of references. If we have the correct point of reference, we can solve just about any problem. So the point of reference that we've been using as human beings has been incorrect all this time. Our point of reference has come from either the brain, okay, our logical side, creates plans, or the heart, our emotional side, where we feel our way through the problems. The problem with those, and this is what I call the human side, working from either the brain or the heart area. The problem with that is, it is replete with a lot of issues that we've inherited at the time of conception. At the time of conception, one of the things that happened to us, we received old stories from our family members. We got some from our mothers, some from our fathers. They go back thousands and thousands of years. It's not just about mom and dad. So if we go back and try to analyze the situations that are occurring from the human side, we're not using an accurate filter. Okay, we're using someone else's filter that we inherited that is not our own. And I know this to be true because the problems I saw with my own father and then with his father were the same things that I was creating on my own 30 years later. And I couldn't understand why I was committing the same issues that they were, even though it was completely different people. Okay? I couldn't understand it. Now I've got some good answers for that. So if we can't work with the human side, what do we do next? What do we do? Well, there happens to be another area of the body that I call the spirit side. It's an area about 1 inch below the navel that I believe God resides. At the time of conception, not only did we get the human story from our parents, but we also received, I believe, a story from God. I believe we received, in my terms, I would say we received the Holy Spirit. And that Spirit is our connector to God, and that Spirit has all the information necessary to guide us, to give us information. Now the question is, how do we move from the human side down to the spirit side? That's what's been plaguing man for thousands and thousands of years, and probably millions of years. I believe the answer to that, again, is very simple. Einstein and Tesla gave us some instructions about how to do this. Einstein was brilliant at creating thought experiments. He was so good with his thought experiments that he could go from his thought experiment, from sleeping, if you will, and go to the blackboard and begin to write down the equations from what he saw in his dreams, and he was very accurate. Tesla could formulate every detail for every instrument that he built, no matter how complicated the equipment was in his mind, and do it for the first time, just see it in his mind and go straight to his workshop and create the instrument, and it worked every time. It was astounding what these people did. Now we're going to do the same thing tonight, because every one of us in this room is a genius. Do you understand what I mean by the word genius? Do you understand? Good. Well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you. Yeah, there's a genius right there. Genius simply means that we're going to the spirit area. Why that's important is, every one of you was given a destiny and a purpose. Every one of you was given a plan. As it says in the Bible, that plan for you is good. Okay? It is great. When we get down to this area, we get out of this judgment area, because the brain and the heart are nothing more than judgment, living someone else's old story. We don't know who we are or what we are living from this area. But coming down here, we see the truth. We're given the truth. When we can open this up, every one of us is living our purpose and our destiny. Every one of us is different. Every one of us has a different purpose and destiny, but I can guarantee you, within the realm of what you were supposed to do from the spirit area, there's no one better at it than you, whatever that is. I call that genius. Okay? And if we can access that, it will change our lives. Interesting? Yeah, well, it helped me. And it's amazing what you can get the information from down here. It's there all the time. It wants to guide us all the time, and it's our friend. Well, like I said, the question is, how do we move from here down to here? The answer is very, very simply. We're going to be using just a simple thought experiment to get us down to this point. AJ, I missed you. You snuck in here, and I didn't have you stand and tell us why you're here. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to let you get away with that. So how about if you stand and tell us why you're here? And it's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Hi, my name's AJ, and I used to be here regularly. I'm trying to find things on my own, but realizing maybe it doesn't hurt to ask for help every once in a while.
Well, thank you very much. AJ, would you mind hitting the lights, please? Thank you. Okay, what we're going to do is a simple little experiment that works very effectively. And what it is we're going to move out of this human side and down to the spirit side. And to do that, what I want you to do is relax where you are. Put your feet on the floor, both feet, arms by your side. I need you to start breathing in and out deeply. Breathe in through the nose, slowly. Let it out through the mouth, quickly. Feel it in that diaphragmatic area. Okay. Feel it move deep into that gut. Okay. All right, let it in, let it out. Now, let's be very grateful. Let's be grateful to God, Holy Spirit, angels, whatever you call God. I don't care what you call God. But let's be grateful to that God for all the help this God has given you up to this point. Okay. Let's be grateful right now that we're going to access this information. So what we're going to do now is we're going to imagine that there's a mirror image of yourself right in front of you. Okay? We can see him or her, and we can see that there's an elevator in their brain. Okay? Now that elevator has you in it. And wherever their elevator is exactly where your elevator would be in your physical body. So we're going to allow that elevator to descend. It's going to go through the brain, down through the heart, and it's going to go down to an area about 1 inch below the navel. When it gets to that spot, just below the navel, I want you to just raise your hand and let me know that you're there. Good, very good. Very good. Good, good, good. 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 Okay, all right. Now, as you're there, I want you to take a moment longer, and even though you think it's there, all right, imagine it's going down even lower. Give it an extra minute or two, because I see that some of you have stopped early. Some of you are in mid-chest area. We want it all the way down. So give it some more time. Stay in gratitude. Take your time. This is extremely important. You get this right, you're halfway home. Most of the time, people have described it that when you're in that spirit area, they're very relaxed. They're very much at peace. Which is far different than being in the brain or the heart area. Now, if you've noticed, the energy in the room just went down even further. It's more serene now, even more peaceful. Do you recognize that? Do you sense that? Very good. Now, for those of you who raised your hand before, have you noticed that now you're in a deeper level as you're even more relaxed than you were before? You notice that? Okay. All right. So, for those of you who are down there now, would you mind raising your hand, please? Good. Good. It's an improvement. Very good. Very good. 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 Very good. Good. Ginger, thank you. There's an improvement. Okay. All right, so now let's bring the elevator back up to the brain. Let's bring it back up. Okay. Bring it up. And when you're ready, let's bring it back down. Let's do the same thing again. Okay, you did well that time. See if you can do it even faster this time. Give yourself permission. Allow yourself to do this. Okay, keep going down. Keep bringing it down. The energy in the room is still a little high. Keep bringing it down. Okay, bring it down. That's it. Did you perceive the shift that just happened? Where the energy just went down much more deeply. Did you pick that up? Did you sense that? Perceptible shift. Good work. Take it down further. Good. Good. You're doing great work. The hairs on my body are beginning to stand up. There are spirits now in the room. You've brought them in. There are angels here now. Okay? Good work. Okay, when you're ready, let's bring the elevator back up to the brain. Now the angels are retreating. They're now leaving the room. Okay, good. Okay. Now you did that very well. Are there any questions about what you've just done? Any questions at all?
I may have one later. I'm trying to formulate it.
Anytime, anytime. Any other questions? Please. I'm sorry.
Oh, how do we make the angels come back?
We get back to the spirit. As you went back up to the brain, they went straight out through that wall. Most of them were on this side. There were several on this side. Most of them were on this side.
Why did it?
Because we went back to the brain. There's no God in the brain. The problem with working in the human side, the problem with our orientation most of the time, is the fact that if we're evaluating our human experiences from either the brain or the heart, by definition that's the human side, and by definition there's no God. There's no God in the human side. We become God. That's why working from this area, no matter who we are, we're never going to get the answers that we really want. We will never be happy, we will never be satisfied, we will never achieve that level of knowledge that we're looking for, or satisfaction or prosperity. Never. Working from this side. So when we went out of God, there was no reason to be in this room. They went out. They went out through those walls. Yeah.
How do we stay at that level for, like you say, that you are at that level, for a long period of time? How do I do it?
Well, the easiest answer I can give you is that you have to allow yourself to do it. You just believe that you can do it. We were born with extraordinary opportunities and talents, every one of us. Every one of us. There's no telling what is there for every one of us here. There's no telling. But it's extraordinary. I realized that all I had to do was ask and believe that I could do this, 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 or that, and guess what? It got turned on really fast. Okay? That's the easiest answer I can give you. Okay. Good question. Any other questions?
So,
Please. Yes, sir.
So like whenever you're tapping or trying to tap into your higher self, I know like some people usually say go to your third eye, or a chakra over and it's like your ninth chakra, your sun chakra basically. So that connection though, are you saying it's basically within you? You can still make that within you?
You can. There are a number of ways of doing it. I found that this technique is maybe the easiest for me.
Right.
It was the fastest and easiest. Because really, we're either out of spirit in the human side or we're in spirit. Okay? And if we can come down using the elevator, then every chakra is aligned automatically. Automatically. It's pretty nice the way this works. That's a good question. I'll address that in just a moment too. Please. Yes.
Down there is very comfortable, relaxed. When
Yes.
you say go up, it kind of has to drag it up.
That's right.
That's the normal feeling?
You're exactly correct. And what's beautiful about this, I got a book that was called Genius. And in the book, I was looking at all the geniuses of the world, like Fermi, Einstein, people in other professions, Mother Teresa, you name them, they were in the book. And whenever they were working at what they were doing best, like Mother Teresa helping the poor, when I could see her auric field, I could see her field strong from here. When Einstein was at his blackboard, doing his genius on his blackboard, he was working from here. Now what was interesting, when Einstein left the blackboard and went back to his family, he was an abysmal failure because he was working from up here. And you could see that in his pictures. So when I examined all these people at their genius level, they were always working from the spirit area, always. Now, when they left that, they made messes of their lives. Okay. So there's a lot of verification that going down to this area is a solution that we've been looking for. Okay. This is how we access this realm and how we access this information. Please.
Would it also be that when you're working on your passion or your divine purpose, whatever that is, that at that moment you're automatically, so it doesn't have to be that you're in the spirit so you can do that, you're doing that and it automatically brings you there?
Absolutely, absolutely. I've met people that know nothing about this technique, know nothing about what we're talking about. I've met some vets a few vets that actually work from this area. They don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it that way, and it's magical to be around these people, no matter who they are. If you've ever found magical people to be around, I can guarantee you, if you go back to them and see their auric field, they'll be working from here. That's where they'll be working from, that area. They won't even know it perhaps, but that's what they do. Okay. But what I'm trying to train you to do is to learn how to live here, to learn how to turn this on in everything that you do. Whether you're driving your car, eating your food, working on people, doing your job, I don't care what it is you're doing, but you're doing it from this area. Because you can do everything from here and still be completely connected to everything out there, just at a different level. That's the point of what I'm trying to do with you. Yes?
Does sugar block your connection to spirit?
Well, I haven't found too many people that do well with sugar. I haven't found too many. I haven't found really anyone. In Oriental tradition, sugar is very expanding, very expanding. Now what we're doing already is very expanding. Coming down to the spirit area is very expanding because we're reaching out to the universe and tapping into this. So now we put sugar on top of that, and now it is very tough to be able to focus and do this work. You won't have the energy, you won't have the vitality. It takes a lot of energy to do this work. And that's why when you do this and you're serious about it, it's like training every day. And that's why these foods and things like that, we have to be super careful. It's
So
not,
on the foods, is it like live foods versus meats and stuff? Like, so are you suggesting, or would you suggest a more lighter diet?
not necessarily. It just depends on the person.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm not a vegetarian, I'll tell you that. I'm not. I'm not. You verify that. I am not a vegetarian. Hey, if you're a vegetarian, fine. But I'd be very careful that you are getting enough nutrients, because vegetarianism is one of the most difficult diets in the world. It's very hard. But whatever God made you to eat and do is what I tell people to do. And I'm very specific about that when I meet them. It just depends on the person. You got to throw the rules out. When we're talking about any person, there are no rules, which is why this work is not easy.
So when I meditate, I found myself feeling the same way as I did right then. So did I just naturally go to that state when I meditate?
You mean coming down here?
Yes.
That's very good. If you were doing that naturally, that's fantastic. But I will say, you got to be careful here, because when I look at people, I look beyond them and I see around them. And as I look on your left-hand side, there's darkness there, which is telling me that you're being oppressed, that there are either dark spirits, demons, whatever you want to call it, coming in to try to discourage you from moving forward. So I would want you especially to clear your space and make sure the space is clean before you start going down into the spirit level. It'll be a lot easier for you to stay there and keep that energy there. Now, do you know how to clear your space?
Tell us, let's do it again.
No, please tell them.
I'm glad I've got all these questions up there. Thank you. Okay, it's really simple. Really simple. What I would do is I would imagine that you are in whatever space you're in, like here right now, for example, and imagine that we have a spiritual bomb going off. And a spiritual bomb, in my terminology, would be God, Christ, Holy Spirit, and angels, and this bomb is going off. And I can see the mushroom cloud going off in my mind, and it goes up and it goes out. And if there's any darkness around me, it's gone. I mean, it's gone. It works well. It works very well. I would strongly suggest that you work with that. Yeah, strongly suggest. Yes?
It might be a good time to bring up this, because
Yes.
that helps with the clearing. of
That is exactly where I'm going next. Just 1 minute. Okay, now, how can we amplify what we just did? And this is a very important question. It's a very simple answer for that also. For example, the sounds of running water are very, very important while we're doing our meditation. Rain, streams, I don't care what you play, it's very helpful to help us move from this human side down to the spirit side. Certain colors are very important, and that's an individual thing, so I can't really go into detail about that, but if you know what colors you like, that can also help you move from the human side down. Okay, another area would be aromas. And you can imagine that certain smells can also help us move from here down to the spirit side. Well, some of the finest aromas I've ever met come from aromatherapy. And they're some of the most concentrated energies in the world, the oils from plants, simply because plants are the intermediary between the physical earth and the etheric energy. So their energy of the oils is incredibly high. Now, we're very fortunate here in this class to have quite a few people with a lot of talent here. And we have 2 people, especially here, that do great work with essential oils. So one of them is Pam Stevens. Pam, would you mind standing, please? AJ, would you mind turning on the light, please? Thank you. Okay. Well, Pam is a friend, and she is very good. She's a massage therapist. She represents a certain type of oil line. It's good. It's very good. And I've gone to her a number of times to get the oils that have been prepackaged that are already formulated to save time, and they work very well. She's very good, and I would ask you to talk to her, and I think you'll learn quite a bit from her. So thank you for being here. Okay. Now, Ruthie, Ruthie, would you mind standing, please? Okay. When I talk to Ruthie, it's like me being back in graduate school. Okay. She's like my professor when it comes to essential oils. We've worked well together. Whenever we need to create an oil that's something which you can't find, a blend that you can't find anywhere, well, we get together and we formulate some pretty good ideas. What do you think? Now, what's also interesting about this is Ruthie is being trained to do self-hypnosis. Okay? So she's going to be guiding us in the meditation. And we can thank a young man who was here last year, Chris. You met him if you were here last year. And he couldn't be here for these sessions because he's finishing his degree of hypnosis in the school, and he'll be back in March, right? Now, his wonderful wife is here today, and she really has gone out of her way. Let's give her a hand here. And even in spite of the fact of a young family, she's here helping us. So thank you. Thank you so much. But he'll be back and joining us in March. Now, he's been training Ruthie over the phone to help us. We used self-hypnosis last year simply because I realized that when I go into my meditation and when I begin to give answers to people, I go into a self-hypnotic trance. So when I can do that, I'm very clear about the answers. Well, that's what we're going to be doing tonight. This is going to be very important. So I'm going to turn over the rest of this night to Ruthie. She's going to be talking about the essential oils that we've been working on and also about taking us into a self-hypnotic trance. Okay? All right, so.
A few times until we finally got it right, how to energize it, how to hypnotize it, everything. And so, you know, this is it's a pretty interesting blend. I'll start with the essential oils portion so that you know what's available. And I did bring some in case anybody's interested, but the original one we started working on was the Stress RX because Dr. Berman, he scanned to see what would be the blend that would help the most people. And I believe that you were scanning for 80% of the people
At least
would
80%.
benefit
Yes.
from this. And it was designed and created with the intention of providing support to the general population during the hectic and sometimes overwhelming journey that we call life. And this particular blend has 9 different essential oils in it. Then the next one we did was Spirit RX. And it was designed and created with the intention of increasing our spiritual connection to the divine creator and contains what many believe to be the gifts of the Magi. Magi? How do you say that? Magi? Turmeric, frankincense, and myrrh essential oils. And then the next one we worked on, which are the new ones that you guys have been sampling in the previous class, is the Immune RX and the Retrieve RX. The Immune RX is designed to help us stay focused and strong during these chaotic times. And the Retrieve RX, it was designed to help us find peace and calm after experiencing a sense of loss, and to remember and retrieve the joy and spark of life and living with purpose. And that one was based on a formula that was originally developed by my other Dr. B, Dr. Bruce Burkowski. I've been studying with him for 20 years. And so he had an original formula called Loss and Remembrance. And oftentimes what we'll do is I'll have a particular blend and then we'll tweak it. And this is what happened in this one. We tweaked it and added additional ingredients and steps. And then the final one was the one that I spoke about. It was designed to help us clear the air and protect us from negative energies. It's an air spray and it's helped me relax and sleep better. I've often, when I've gotten really stressed, I'm just like, shh, you know. So, you know, it clears the room, but it also helps clear your aura. And like I said, I do have some available in case you're interested. So,
Pat, would you mind doing a little experiment with your pendulum?
Okay.
Okay. Can we measure the energy of the room, say now, the focused energy of the room now?
Okay.
And then Ruthie, if you could spray a little bit around the room, and then
Okay.
maybe you have to measure, this is after
I'll
you
wait.
measured. Yeah. Let's just see if the energy increases. Pat, would you mind explaining to the people what you're doing?
It's really complicated. It might take me an hour or so.
We'll ask a bunch of questions.
Give the ear a hard time. This is a pendulum. It's a tool for those of you that aren't aware of them. They can be fun. This is a customized pendulum. But what it is it measures energy, and I use it in my practice to measure the energy of chakras. You can measure things that you can't see, so it's a very nice visual tool. And I'm well practiced with it. So Gary has me measure things like the energy in the room and what y'all are doing. You don't know it, but I was measuring things while y'all were doing your elevator. We'll talk about that later. So we're going to measure the energy in the room right now, and you'll get all the answers sometime later. I'm measuring on a scale of 0 to 100, and I'm asking you got to have a very specific question. If you ask too general of a question, how can you know what you're measuring, right? It's really good with yes or no's once you get it down. Okay, got it. Yeah, based on what we had earlier.
Ruthie, just spray away.
okay,
Okay.
you gotta shake it up.
Spray away.
If you have allergies to anything, beware, I guess.
Yeah, well, this right here, we've got.
What's in it?
Me too. I'll just go down the
What's in it?
middle. The base is distillate of lavender and rose.
Oh, it smells good.
And then it's got a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, that sounds
I've got the
good.
ingredients list for anybody else that wants to read it.
While we're doing something, your focus as a group, before we sprayed it, it was right around 70-ish. Now, when we were doing the elevator stuff, let's see, let's go ahead and tell you. When we started tonight, before Gary came in, we were at 26. 27.
Is
So-
everybody packed?
That was a group, as a group with most of us in.
Wow.
So when we did the first elevator, when you worked on the first elevator exercise, we went to about 60
After the first elevator?
after the first elevator.
Okay.
First elevator ride. The second elevator ride, we got into the whoop-de-whoops, you know, the up and down there. We got up into the 70s, approaching 80 with that. And now, when we measured it, because we're not in the elevator anymore, before this started, we were back down to 70. Now, after she just sprayed the room, we're up in the high 80s.
Very good,
Okay?
very good, thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. And one thing that you were saying as far as when you are working on your passion and your destiny, that you're in that spirit area. When I work with the oils, even if I'm just working on a formula or the database, I mean, it's like total zen. I am there. And it's an automatic connection for me, so I can vouch for that.
Very good.
Ruthie, question.
Yes.
Gary, is darkness still here? Is it anywhere?
Well, you've asked a very good question. It's not here in the room, but it's waiting for us when we get home. It's for people along here. Okay? We want to take this energy, and whatever we're dealing with right now, we want to send this energy to the house and let this energy clear out the house where you're living. Okay, this is very important. This is for everyone here. Okay, I'm not sure what you're going through in terms of the issues, but it's waiting for you. Everything got cleared out from this room very fast, but there's still some things that could happen later. Okay, so we'll make sure that you clear it out, and then let us know how the house looks when we get home. Okay, please, this is important. Okay. Okay, good.
Ruthie, I'm sure you're going to cover this, but do you have protection to go if anybody wants to buy
I
it
do
tonight?
have, I did bring, well, I used one bottle as a sample. I brought 12 in all, so there's 11 available.
Okay.
It's interesting because I've been scanning before I make certain blends, how many I should make, etc. And I scanned if I should make 1 dozen or 2 dozen, and it came back, make 1 dozen. And I was like, okay, fine. So I was blending all day, and I blended it. And when I got to the 12th bottle, I had exactly the number of drops I needed of the Protect RX to be able to make it. So, yeah, so I have to blend some more of the base formula next week. So, yeah,
How much is it?
it works.
For-
I've
Do you know? Okay.
I've got the list.
You can give us that information.
For the Protect, it's 24. Okay. Okay. So, I've been working with Chris. I miss him. Marlene, I miss him.
We all do.
So I've been working with him, and I wish that I would have had more opportunity to actually speak with him again before I did this. But I guess it's going to be what it is, and I'll do my best for you, okay? So, what we're going to do is as follows. I'm going to ask you to take 3 breaths, and that's going to help you relax. Then I'm going to take you to a safe place.
Can I turn the lights
A
down?
little bit because I need to be able to read the script.
I'm trying to see it.
No, that's not going to work.
And you get to a point of relaxation. I'm going to take you to a safe place in a beautiful cabin in the woods. Then I will guide you down a staircase that's going to lead you from your mind to your spirit area. Okay, so now close your eyes and relax with me. Sit with your back straight. Make yourselves comfortable. Sit in a comfortable position. Keep your hands apart and your legs and ankles uncrossed. Now take a deep breath in And as you let it out, release the tension of the day. Again, take another deep breath in. And now let out all of the stress of the day. Now we take the last deep breath in. And as you let it out, relax your whole body. Now, begin to breathe normally. Now I ask you to relax the top of your head and all of the muscles in the top of your head. Allow all of the muscles in your face to relax. Now release the tension in your jaw. Allow all of the muscles in your neck to relax. Let your shoulders drop now as you relax. Allow this relaxation to continue down your arms. Feel the warm relaxation to flow through your elbows and down your forearms. Relaxing all of the tendons in your wrist, the palms of your hands, the back of your hands, all the way down to your fingertips. Now feel the warmth all the way through the top of your torso. As you now feel the warm relaxation melting down the top of your back, feel the tension melt away as you relax the top of your back. And as you allow this feeling to flow down to the middle of your back, then feel the warmth all the way down to your lower back. Feel all the tension of your chest and your stomach area relaxing completely now. That's it. Allow yourself the opportunity to completely relax. Allow this wonderful warm feeling to move through your hips, relaxing all of the muscles in your hips and in your pelvic area. Moving the warmth down to the top of your thighs. And now all through your thighs, relaxing even more now as we move to your knees. Allowing the warmth and relaxation to move into your calves. Relaxing all of the muscles of your ankles. Feel all of the tendons of your feet relaxing now. And allow this feeling to continue all the way to your toes. Allowing your whole body from the very top of your head all the way down to the very tip of your toes. You're completely relaxed and comfortable. Now, imagine a beautiful and completely safe, cozy cabin in the mountains. Feel the wood deck below your feet as you sit, looking out at the beautiful scenery in front of you. See all of the colors, the bright colors in the leaves, the oranges, the yellows, and vibrant reds. Feel the warm wind against your skin. Listen as you hear the sounds of the birds singing happily in the distance. As you hear the soft rustles of the leaves, as the warm wind dances through the leaves, feel the warm sun as it peeks through the leaves and warms you as the sunlight dances on your skin. Enjoy the calming sound of the moving water in the distance from the nearby stream. Enjoy this amazing place for a moment, knowing that you are safe. Now give yourself permission to come back here quickly and easily if you have any thoughts or distractions in your conscious mind. As you come back to enjoy this beautiful place, take your time, enjoy the vivid details. In a moment, we will see a staircase in our mind. Take the stairs down from your mind to the spirit area. We'll start with 10. Number 10, beginning in your mind. 9, going 10 times deeper with each step. 8, going deeper and deeper, more and more. 7, you're in your throat area. 6, allow yourself to relax. 5, you're in the heart center. 4, going even deeper. 3, you're in your stomach. 2, you're almost there. And 1, you're in your spirit area now, about 1 inch below the navel. Now see a ball about the size of a tennis ball, of bright, intense, white light. Feel the presence of God, Christ, Holy Spirit, and your angels. As you repeat, thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over again. Hold this energy in gratitude and praise. And as you do, see the ball growing, getting more intense with bright white light. Allow it to get big enough for you to step inside. As you step inside this beautiful ball of healing white light, give yourself permission to allow every cell in your body to be protected by God. And as you allow each and every cell in your body to be separated so that they can be repaired, feel the weight of your body for just a moment Now release that weight until there is no weight at all. Sense yourself floating beyond the chair that you're in. And while in this state, know God and the other spirits are remanufacturing yourselves. You do not feel the presence of your body. And as you enjoy the sensation, it is easy for you to feel this white light working on every one of your cells. See every cell being worked on. Feel the healthy cells becoming even more healthy. See all of the dangerous cells changing as they are being supported and loved and appreciated by the spirits. Allow yourself to be everywhere with your presence. Give yourself permission to be anywhere in the world at any time that you need to talk to anyone and say what you need to say so that you will heal. They can help you and you can help them. Now is the time to allow this to happen. Or if you need anyone to give you a message that will allow you to heal, allow this to happen now. This is the time to allow the old dangerous stories that you have inherited to be purged from each and every cell of your body. Letting go of the stories that no longer serve you in your highest form, to be purged from every cell of your body now. Allow your God story of your purpose and destiny to manifest. And allow it to take charge of the contents of each and every one of your cells. Every cell in your body. Now, filled with energy, health, and vitality, this is the story that comes from your spiritual prosperity of health, wealth, good relationships, and having time to spend in those relationships. Allow this vision to manifest. As you enjoy this wonderful and amazing feeling, know that great things are in your future. You are very comfortable in your spirit area. And it is easy for you to get back to this space anytime you like. Take a moment now and review all of the amazing work you have done. See yourself in this new role in your life. Sense how much better you feel, knowing you are working with God's intended story for you. Now, at any time that you use any form of communication or media, such as TV, radio, phone, internet, you will be reminded of this feeling and get this message of healing and prosperity. Enjoy this feeling of love and prosperity. In a moment, I will count back up from 1 to 5. 1, knowing that you have done an amazing job. 2, feeling great. 3, becoming more aware of the room. 4, wiggling your fingers and your toes. and fun, wide awake and feeling wonderful, refreshed and feeling great.
The elevator, simply because that is the easiest thing to do. I don't care where you are, I don't care what you're doing, I don't care what your belief systems are. I found, just by practically working with my patients, that if they can focus in on that mirror image of themselves, and they can actually see it go down, that gets us into the ballpark of doing what we need to do. It's a good starting point. As you learn more about this, you can graduate to what she just did. But this takes a little bit of work. Okay, what I'm doing works very quickly. Now, once you get down to that spirit center, I don't care what form of meditation you use, it'll all work. It just so happens, though, that if you do follow what Ruthie gave you, it's really effective. It's very effective for whatever we need. Anything to add?
I will say one thing. The first time Chris worked with me, he asked me, what's easier for you? And he was talking about different ways, like the elevator or the steps. And I said, for me, I do so much better with the steps because I can just picture myself frolicking down these steps, So it also is a personal preference, whatever is easiest for you to feel. And another thing that I really appreciate the script, and Chris was really amazing in working with me on this. You use your senses. You're incorporating all your senses. You're feeling, you're sensing, you're seeing the colors and the light. And all of that is just very important to be able to get you out of your own way, to be able to let the spirit kick in.
Any other questions? That was good.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job.
Now, again, I'm asking you to focus in on a few ideas here to take with you over the next couple of weeks. Let's try one thing here, and we'll go back to, for the moment, the elevator. But what I'm going to ask you to do this time, though, is imagine you see the mirror image of yourself, and I want you to say the word prosperity to yourself. I want to see if you picked up the effects of the self-hypnosis that Ruthie took you through. What I'm finding is when people focus on the word on prosperity, meaning health, wealth, relationships, and the time to enjoy it, they automatically are moving from this area all the way down like that, just like that. Okay. So let's take a moment. Let's just take a moment and see how well you do with that. Okay. Hey Jay, would you mind hitting the lights? Okay. All right, so let's go back. Okay. You relax. Okay. You're giving gratitude and praise. You're allowing yourself to do this. Okay. Your cells, every part of your body has received the information from Ruthie's meditation about the concept of prosperity. We're going to allow them to take over. Okay. So, in your mind, see yourself, that mirror image of you, okay. And say the word prosperity to yourself. With a show of hands here, how many people could sense that they moved from the brain area down to the spirit area? With a show of hands. Okay, very good, very good. That's very good. You'll get there. You will get there. It just takes a little bit of practice. Until we have the video up on YouTube, I would suggest that you try the elevator, do the steps, I don't care, see it going down. But whatever you can do to get down into the spirit area, it's vitally important. Once you're there, then you can use any form of meditation you want. That'll help. But you've got to be down here. I've seen people tell me that they've been practicing this, and I know they have, and they're not getting good results. They're not seeing things change like this. Well, generally when I ask them to do it in front of me, they are leaving their brain. But I'm finding that most people are only getting down to about here, not there. So down here is about 25% effective. This is 0. This or this, working from the brain or heart area, 0% effective. If you're praying from here, meditating from here, chanting from here, you're wasting your time. You are absolutely wasting your time. There's no God in this area, you're not going to get good results at all. Okay, so if you move down, and you're roughly here, 25%, 50%, 75, 100%. You see why it's so important to get all the way down. Now, the next time we meet, I'll take you through this, and I'll actually go person by person to make sure you are working from down here. But I think you know enough now to start the process. What do you think? Can you do it?
Yes.
Yeah. If you have questions, call me, let me know, talk to Ruthie. Okay? We'll do everything we can to help. Okay? Yes, Jennifer.
Are you operating from here, and are we, our intent is to operate from here all the time?
All the time.
In other words, it's not like sometimes you go up to your brain to solve a brain problem, or, because this you said encompasses all of it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I like your question. But whether it's a brain problem or a heart problem, I turn it down here to turn it into a spiritual opportunity. Because until I can go down here, no matter what type of problem it is, I'm never going to get a good answer until I can turn it down here. Okay. You see my point? So look, I come back up here too. I'm far from being perfect, but I do my best right now. I just do my best to stay here as much as I can. It takes practice, but you can do it. It just takes practice. Any other questions, Sam? Good question. Any other questions?
So the way you said it is that because whatever the problem on the heart level or head level is because you have to go down to the spiritual area to solve, because the problem cannot be solved at the level it's created.
Absolutely. Einstein said that, thank you, that you can't solve a problem from the level from which it was created. He proved that over 100 years ago. Very good. So if we stay in this area, we've created the problems from this area. We are never going to solve the problems from this area. Never. We can't. It's kind of like there are two rules of success, and they're very simple. The first rule is stop digging the hole. Okay, stop digging the hole. Digging the hole means I'm back into the brain or heart trying to get my answers from there. The second rule of success is get out of the hole. Okay, so we get out of the hole by dropping down to the spirit area and allowing God to give us the answers. And there's a particular reason why I'm saying this. When we're down in this area, whatever we're supposed to be doing has already been known, even before we were born. That information was already known. It was perceived thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years before. We already knew it. The correct answers were already known. If we come back up here, we're making up the answers. We're making up our own answers from the human side. And they're going to be wrong. They will be wrong. So there's a purpose and destiny for every one of us. There's a correct answer for every one of us. And whatever it is that we're facing, and whatever it is that we're facing, there's a correct answer from here. Up here, wasting your time. Thank you. Einstein would be proud of you. And, any other questions?
So why is like darkness attracted? Or somebody like, I meditate, I speak with my guardians and all that. So why would like darkness be attracted to?
Okay. Good question. Like for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the moment we go back up here, and you do a lot of work from your brain. Okay. So when you're in the brain deals with anger and frustration. So when we're sending out those signals, even if we don't know it, we're sending that out, and those beings, those dark beings, people, places, things that want to fight, guess what you're bringing to you? You're going to be bringing objects to you that want to fight and create problems. Now, if I'm working from my heart, I'm dealing with fear, doubt, uncertainty. It's no better or worse than that. But I'm now going to bring people that are afraid to work with me. They won't commit to things. I'm bringing opportunities to me that vanish from here. Here, people generally tend to dominate. Okay? So in either regard, I'm creating problems in some way, shape, or form, and those demons are looking for things to create problems, and they want to see us working in those areas, even if we don't know it. And they come around to create problems. Now, we don't know when they're coming around. Like, now they're gone, and your house is clean. Okay? But when you came to the room, that was different. That was different. So what I'm trying to say is, we must be aware of what we're doing. We need to be aware. This is not just, these things do exist. They do exist. If there's light, there's darkness. Okay? So we have to be careful where we're working. And if things aren't going well, then you could rest assured that either one of two things is happening. Either we're being oppressed by people, places, or things, or dark demons, or God is trying to teach us a lesson. Okay?
How do you know the difference?
You ask. You just ask. You just ask. It tells you all the time. Okay? Try to keep it simple. Okay? Very good. Any other questions?
Like, I have a question.
Sure.
What's the best way to start to see either yourselves aura or your own aura or someone else's aura?
Yeah. What I did was just ask. I wanted to see it. So I asked them to show me what the energetic fields look like around a person. Just like that. They turned on. Okay. You can turn it off, you can turn it on. But again, it's trusting. It's trusting that this wants to help you. And it's almost like if we look at a 5-year-old child, if we can have the simplicity of a 5-year-old child, we could do wonderful things. We could really do wonderful things, okay? But if we had that simplicity, it's amazing how things would turn on for us. But what happens is this takes over the brain, or the heart takes over and tells us in one way or another, you can't do it. Okay, it's going to tell you can't do it. When we're talking about looking at auras, your brain is going to take over and say, no, you can't possibly do it. Well, if you listen to that, guess what? Not going to do it. It's going to prove you right. You're not going to do it. But if we come down here and take charge of that and tell it that you know what it's trying to do, it's trying to self-sabotage you. Because working up here is nothing more than self-sabotage. Okay? So it's trying to self-sabotage you. You take charge of that. And then give it permission to work with you and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Start looking around people and you'll start sensing little irregularities surrounding their bodies. That's how it generally starts. And then poof, you can see everything. It's pretty amazing.
I've kind of seen that with the way you describing it, so I'm gonna stick to it.
Very good.
Thank you.
Please. Very good. Anyone else? Well, I think you guys did really well today. I want to thank you for being here. And the way we finish, we go into a group prayer. That's how we finish. So we hold hands, and then we just